Hello and welcome to our new interview series, Little Chats, Big Stories. Now, as a business owner myself, I'm always on the lookout for inspiration, tricks of the trade and anything really that will make our business better. Better for our clients, better for our staff and better for the world that we live in. And what we've realised over the years is that we learn so much from our clients, how they operate, what their values are and what it really means to have a great business. So this year we thought we'd capture some of these stories from a wide range of industries based solely on the fact that we found these people great to talk to. So whatever industry you're in, whatever pain points you may have at the moment, or even if you just like hearing passionate people talk about what they do and what inspires them, hopefully you'll find this series of value. To start us off, our first interview is with the ever-inspiring Maxine Nwaneri. Best-selling author, public speaker, presenter and executive coach to teams and individuals around the world. Thanks for watching. Maxine Nwaneri, absolute joy to see you today and thank you for giving up the time to chat to us.
My pleasure, Rob. It's so good to speak to you today.
Thank you. Well, first question, Maxine, please tell us what is it that you do?
Yeah, sure. So I founded a professional services company called The Future is Greater. We provide speaking, training, executive coaching, consultant for companies who really want to attract, retain, develop and advance their top talent to really drive business results, especially top diverse talents, like female, to increase female representation, that sort of thing, across the board in their organizations.
Yeah. And I guess as times are changing, and of course, you mentioned, highlighting females in organisations. I know we've done a lot of work this year ourselves on women in tech. Apologies, I'm a 50-year-old fella, and I thought the world had completely changed. But that is still, you still have to bang that drum quite hard, do you, to get noticed?
Yes. Unfortunately, there's just so much, despite all the work that's been going on over decades to try and increase equality, to close the gap, it's still very much an issue. There's different reports and things that we read that it could take up to a century really to close, both the pay gap and just so many things around gender. So there really is a lot of work to do still in this space.
And I'm sure it's naivety on my part to be, surprised at that, because you think, anyone running a business, you want the best people for the job, and you think that should overpower race, gender, age, sexuality, all these things that we hear about that get in the way. But from what you're saying, there's a fair bit of work to do.
Yeah, and there's a lot of complex issues that cause us to still be in this space when everybody knows actually more diverse teams get better results. Everybody knows that. But there are a lot of forces at play. There's things like unconscious bias. Decisions get made due to bias and not a conscious thought. There are very real challenges that people have to face. Women, we're talking about gender, where we started, many physically, have to leave the workforce to go have children when they do. And, if they're on track, maybe perhaps they joined at the same time with their male counterparts. If they, leave for like a year or depending on how long they decide to go, that is a factor. And so there's many things like that, many complex issues that really cause us to be in this situation. So our work really is all around helping businesses understand that and create the best solutions to address them.
Yeah, and, I know you're extremely successful in what you've done, but what's your challenges been as a business owner? And also what I'm fascinated by is that you're kind of the face of the brand. It's not like you've got an Amazon store that you can have an off day and you'll still sell 300 a day of what you're selling, or you've got a team of 100. You're very much at the coalface all the time.
Yes.
Delivering. So how much pressure is that, and how challenging is it?
Extremely challenging. It's a good thing I love my work, so I'm up for it. But it's extremely challenging, and it's interesting because actually, when I dive into helping companies solve the issues that I'm helping them with, let's say for example they want to help some of their female leaders. These are some of the things that come up. How do I manage all the things I have to do, not only in the workplace but outside with the family? So I'm I have a very real understanding of what that's like, not just in running my business. I'm also an author. I have a book deal with HarperCollins that's due out next year. So I have that responsibility. I'm married. I've got 2 young kids under the age of 7. So there's all of these things. And my biggest challenge is really understanding, yes, the business, every business, of course, needs to, if you want to grow, get your right message and from the right person, in the right format at the right time. We all have to do that to win new business. So I've got that. Like you say, I'm the face of the business. I'm very much involved in a lot of the marketing that goes on with that. And in terms of delivery, I want to ensure that we over deliver and then ensure our customers are delighted with the results. So I'm very much involved with that. So there's all of that. There's only one of me. So my biggest challenge is understanding, what are the must-do things, because I know every business owner knows that, you could literally work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it never gets done. So, what are the must-do items, not just in my business, but, with my book, with my family, with my children, with myself. I like to look after myself. So it's just really understanding, there's always a lot of urgent things, but, what are the important and urgent things that must get done each day? So I'd say that's probably my biggest challenge.
And how you must be obviously very disciplined, but I think also, again, speaking as a business owner, it's very easy to berate yourself if you don't do those 12 hours a day, or you do sometimes think, well, no, I have to be home for the kids this weekend. Well, no, you should be at work. Is it more of a modern view that it's expected as well as accepted that you're going to have time for yourself and your family, and that work isn't just the only thing that we've got going on in our lives?
Yeah, I'd like to tell you, on my high horse, Rob, that I kind of knew that, but I ended up in hospital, hospitalized with stress, and I realized actually the world did go on, and I was sick and not able to help the very people I thought I was doing all that for. So I think that moment, that was over a decade ago, that moment of just realizing, actually, as much as I want to do everything, as much as, I want to, cross that extra thing off my list, we're human and humans need rest. So I learned that the hard way, and literally, as I came out of that situation, I did something, I now do something that, seems very strange when I suggest it to people, which is, as I go ahead and plan in my week, I actually put in rest first. When am I going to rest and get the sleep I need? And then, the things that, with my family, it's very important for me to have a good marriage. So when am I going to work on that? When am I going to have time for myself, my children? All of that goes in first. Before then, the work and the business and the book, because I found that, the old me, the pre-hospital me, would have thought, oh, when are you going to do all the work? But actually, the post-hospital me realizes that when I fill all those cups first, work gets a phenomenal version of me, and my best work comes out, and the teams I work with love it. So I've just found that just flipping it on its head and just understanding that we're human beings and we need to fill ourselves up. We can't pour from an empty cup, so we fill ourselves up first to then be able to give our best. And I need to especially do that if I'm going to deliver important work for my clients.
Yeah, and from your side, I know you have associates who work with you, but are you looking to get to a point where you're not having to do 60 hours a day and all those things? You clearly love it. Every time we've met a few times, and your energy, your smile, your enthusiasm is absolutely infectious. But are you planning for a time when you can switch off a little bit, knowing that the values and what you stand for is being is being shared by a wider team?
Yeah, and it's such a good question. So it's interesting. I always feel like, oh, I need to kind of give away some things and reduce my workload a bit. But the thing is, and the thing I encourage a lot of clients to get to this point is, I love what I do, so much. I really love what I do. So even as much as I give off things to associates, I get different people to handle elements, I'm always going to be doing something, because the minute that time's freed up, I get a new idea. So I think I'm probably one of these strange people that is passionate about finding work I'm passionate about, that I can make profitable, that I could do this, and it's just a case of, just making sure I kind of juggle things well, ensure I get enough rest. That's why I put in the rest and everything first, because I know myself, it will not stop. So once I make sure that the cups that need to be filled are filled, I don't know that I'll ever slow down or stop or retire. Some people look forward to retirement. I love what I do, and I love the impact it has on my clients. So it's kind of a long-winded answer to your question, Rob. I honestly don't know. Yeah, and my daughter watching me is like, oh, mommy, can I come and work for you? And I'm like, are you sure? But just to kind of see the joy that I bring to it, she's inspired by that. I think, I honestly don't know. I love what I do. I'm passionate about finding more ways to add value that I love doing. So I don't know.
If we're in that famous elevator pitch environment, so you're in the lift and someone gets in and says, well, Maxine, I've just seen you speak, or I've read your book, or I'm thinking of starting a business, or I want to do, what would your, immediate advice, be to them, advice in life or business? What would be the takeaway for them when they get out of that lift and think, wow, I'm inspired?
Oh, wow. What a
No
question
pressure.
to end on, Rob. Oh my goodness. And, it's interesting, and I know this is longer than the elevator would allow, but I don't think there's a one size fits all answer to that question. I think depending on who it is, the advice will be different. Because I'd want to hear from them, because I think everybody is at a different phase in their life, a different mindset, different experiences, different things. But I guess if I didn't have the opportunity to hear much from them and I just had to speak and not tailor anything to them, I would just say, anything's possible. Anything is possible. Don't limit yourself. Kind of just going back to what I said earlier on. You can look around, it's doom and gloom, or you're looking around. We started talking about, women in tech and, women in business and the disparities that we see there, and will it ever change? You look around and you're like, oh my gosh, there's very little that I can see that tells me what I want is possible. And I think, you know what? Anything is possible. Literally. I've gone from a situation where at one time I had no home, I had no hope, I had nothing. Went on to graduate in one of the best universities in the world, build an amazing career, start a business. Like, the person I am now, the person I was in my late teens couldn't even fathom it. So I would say to this person in the lift, I'd say, listen, dream your craziest dream, like the wildest dream that actually if most people heard, they'd laugh at you about. But as long as it sets you on fire, that passion we talked about before, Rob, it's possible for you. It is so possible. So hold on to that dream. I'm not saying again, just like, oh, I want to do this. It's not founded. That thing that when you think about it, it almost moves you. That's possible. And then just begin to take the steps day by day. Don't try and figure it out at once. Just one step at a time. That's how we get there. That's what I've said.
Yeah, that was absolutely worth pausing the lift for. That was and too good for me to follow up with another question. Maxine, I said it at the start, but it's always a joy chatting to you. My face is aching from smiling because of your infectious energy, and congratulations on all you've done and on changing the world as we go forward.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rob. It's such an honor to speak to you, and thank you so much for asking me to do this.
Thank you.